and Ken got me the funds to get, initially it was 3 iPad minis, wasn't it?
I think so.
Did Barry keep one of them?
He probably did.
So this is a mini?
That's a mini.
I see.
And so I wrote a grant because for my CMA students, they need to do some coding and billing, but it's not as extensive as the coding and billing that I do for my medical coding and billing students. And the books to code are like $100 a piece for them to use it so minimally. I was like, I don't want to, put that effort in, or that money, for them to have that money into it, and they change every year. So I got those, and then I started finding the apps, and the apps were crap. So now I'm basically using them in the classroom if we have any research type things, or we're sitting in there, they're just kind of there for the students to use if we have to look up anything or whatever. And the only way that I've used it in the classroom is I've used TeacherKit, like John and Beth do.
What is that?
That one is the one where you can take attendance and write behaviors down and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So I've used that. And I've done YouTube videos, grabbed YouTube videos out of there, or I've looked up stuff myself. Someone asked a question, I'm like, I have no idea, so I looked up myself. I have an app on here for medical assistant review class that I'll use. It has like a bank of questions for their national test that I'll use this summer for that class. I use Dropbox because, like, for curriculum committee, all the papers that's sent through, I'll put it in my Dropbox off of my computer, and then I can just click on my Dropbox and they come up, so I don't have to. Otherwise,
I don't use that one as much. I should use that
yeah.
one.
Otherwise,
So it's on your computer. You can read your Word documents on this.
Yes. So you get Dropbox on your computer. You get Dropbox on here, and they link. However they link. Techie over here can
Through
tell
the
you.
magical world.
Through the magical world of the cloud, maybe? I don't know.
Via your Apple ID.
Via your Apple ID, there we go. And so, and then like even your pictures and everything. And I actually have this also, is synced a word? It's not sunk.
Yeah.
Synced with my iPhone. So any app that I put on here or anything like I buy from iTunes or whatever goes directly onto here as well. And I have my GCC email on here, so I always have that.
I just added that here, so I know.
Yay. I've taken pictures for of my CMA students using this for various Daily Globe articles or whatever. And that's about it. That's what I've used it for. What do I want to use it for else? I don't know. I'm probably going to look at a couple of these ones on that sheet. So, there. That's my spiel.
Basically what I've been using it for, I haven't, to be all honest, used it for very much. I mean, for me, it's a nice gadget. Class-wise and in the classroom, I haven't had the tendency to use it. I use it for presentation. I get a lot of, cool videos, especially related to anatomy. This is one of them. We're just, doing the heart. You can go through and kind of look at it. You can change, the rate, the heart rate, and see what it looks like when it changes the heart rate.
Is that an app?
Yeah.
What
It's a
app
virtual
is that?
heart app.
Oh,
Virtual
cool.
heart. And it goes through and, and that's a free one. I mean, it shows you like the electrical system and then also kind of highlights and gives you some little facts. So, mostly just for presentation that way. The biggest thing that I like it for is this program I have. I mean, some of the other atlases I have on here, that we can go through, I don't find that they're any more of an advantage than I would have from my laptop, that sort of thing. My book is on here, so if I need to reference this, it's good. This is a program that comes with my book for next year that I'm changing over to, which I also have on my PC, so it's not exclusive to the iPad. Right. Although the visual is really nice from the iPad. It goes through and it gives you videos. It lets you dissect.
Is this from 105 too?
I use it in 105, but it's not compatible with the book from 105. but I use the videos because they're so, you know, kind of cool.
Awesome.
So you can go through and, you know, but again, I don't know that this is necessarily, I have the same capability to go off of my regular laptop. What I would like to do though is, you know, in addition to this, on this program, it goes through and it lets you do dissections. So you can go through and do dissections and go all the way through, you know, certain areas, highlight, whatever. You can start on the outside of a dissection and, you know, let's go back to the brain. If it goes through and when you do everything, you can have it, you know, do the different sections. It'll start with all the skin up on the top and then you can kind of go deeper through. If I could figure out a way, and I have Brian sort of looking for me right now because I can't, you know, they'll all have the program next year from their books and through, you know, through the fact that they buy the book. But if, let me go back. If I could figure out a way to have them all synced up so that we're sort of all doing the dissection at once on here, that would really sort of make, I don't want to do skeletons. That would make it really kind of cool and kind of nice because then everybody could be, you know, we don't have cadaver dissection here, but we could have it here on the, you know, doing it with iPads. We could all kind of do it together. Here, you know, you can go through and highlight and use it for quizzes and things like that. I'm trying to think where we have lymphatics, respiratory.
That's cool.
Let's see. You know, you can start from the outside, you know, and then it kind of lets you, you know, work your way in different sections. It also has video and audio to kind of walk you through. It comes with a workbook.
So is that the same guy, you think?
It is.
Yeah, you can see.
Sure, look at his throat. But what would be really cool is if we could figure out a way to have it so all of the iPads could link up. You could be working in a group at a time doing a dissection and then, you know, have one person do part of it and then kind of link them all together. I haven't figured out a way to do that. The only way that Brian and I sort of have come up with linking is through SyncPad, which is an app. Basically, when you go in, you know, you log into it. Let's see. Did it not work? Okay. Email.
Short for you.
You guys want to go give it? So you can go into it and you can just kind of create a whiteboard. You can have, you know, whiteboards saved depending between your different classes and that sort of thing. You know, you can go in. I had one kind of going earlier, but let's just call this, you know, like it's a presentation, whatever you're kind of working on. People will be, through their email, can be invited to join in and do it at the same time. You know, you can go through, if you're a problem-based class, like physics or maybe chemistry or even math, you know, you can go and do a problem or whatever and then have them work and collaborate between a group on the same, you know, whiteboard, whether it's within the class or opposite. I had before questions, like a quiz, and they could kind of take it within the group and kind of write it out. You can either do it by drawing that way. You can also go through and type, you know, if you wanted to ask questions, that sort of thing. And so that could link in if you had it within your class where, you know, everybody, I know nursing now requires them to all have an iPhone, but if we had, you know, like Angela has 2 minis.
Mm-hmm.
If you could link all those minis together, you know, with your iPad and then sort of work on a problem together. You can download PDFs onto here, but I haven't been able to figure out how to, you know, kind of link up a specific program. And I'm sure that's probably on purpose because they probably have something built into the app or built into the program for that. So that's kind of where I'd like it to go. I'd like to be able to not only, you know, I mean, all the little gadgets are kind of cool and they're kind of cool to use, But until you can sort of get it in the hands of the students and have them actually doing the work on it, it seems just like a toy. You know, it makes my life easier, but I'm not sure that it necessarily makes their life any easier.
Right.
So it would be nice to be able to kind of go through and be able to take it to that level. So, if you agree, you know. Because I mean, I don't have any problems with communicating with students through Blackboard, you know, and other traditional means or things like that. I mean, as far as linking up with them. But, you know, it's hard to make something on here required if they don't have it, you know. So, I think that's kind of what's lacking.
I guess it makes my life easier because of the book being on there, though, and not having to lug around that book, but that's, because you can get your textbook on here. Well, if they'll let you. I mean, if you have textbooks through,
McGraw-Hill lets me do
okay,
all
and
the
this
textbook
and this
data.
one's Elsevier or Evolve or whatever, I think it's both one and the same or whatever. But then we thought, if you guys came, what would you like to do with an iPad? What are your thoughts?
Actually, you know what, this would be a really good time for you, because if you're going to be making your presentation or your paper, you know, of what you'd be using it for,
Yeah.
you can make your plea directly to Ken.
Oh.
Look into the camera.
Explain to him why you need one.
Actually, the one thing, it's funny, Google Earth is on there. So far, I'm thinking about, in my, I teach World Lit, and so I try to use Google Earth, like, okay, now this author is from Kenya. Where is Kenya? And let's look on Google Earth. And it's really awkward to try to use Google Earth. My husband has a tablet, and so when we're using Google Earth at home, it's really easy, because you're like, oh, you know, you use your fingers and you spin around and you can point in. But it's a lot harder to do that just with my laptop. So, I mean, that's one automatic thing that I think would be a lot easier with an iPad or a tablet or even a laptop that has a touch screen, which I think they're moving in that direction.
Laptops with
Yeah.
touchscreens? You have one, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has one that does.
Yeah, now that Windows 8 is coming out, that's more of a touch screen oriented.
That's,
Yeah, we have that at
Ben
home,
has
but not
that,
on
and
a
he doesn't have a touch screen, but he has Windows 8.
Mhm.
Oh, he doesn't.
We have Windows 8 at home too on our desktop,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
kind of,
hate it.
Yeah, he hated it at first. He's sort of getting used to it, but you can see that it's made for a touch. It's made for a
Exactly.
tablet or a
Yeah,
touch screen.
yeah.
You know, so if you don't
So it's
have it,
very
it's very
awkward.
frustrating.
Yeah.
But then this one says there's a Google Earth a couple of times on here, kind of giving you ideas of how you can use it, which is exactly what you just said. I was going to look at some of these. Some of the ones that kind of caught my eye when I was doing it was Prezi, Audio Boo. Audio Boo is kind of like a podcast type thing. Capture Notes 2 and Sketch. Sketch was on here. But I just really haven't had a time to play around with it. Oh, the other thing that I was doing with this is Dawn has she has apps that we can download, that she has a package for the nursing program, which I'm getting into too, with medication books and things like that, to be on here for apps for the students too. So, and when I just had this and I started out class, I was passing this around to the students and stuff, but then of course, you know, I have my mail on here and other GCC related items, and
Other GCC sanctioned
yes,
apps.
that, you know, that I don't really want them to, you know.
That's why I'm
so
keeping
much.
up this screen up on top, and we're not going to the more personal.
But do that again?
No. This is all I have.
And even what's really cool is I have Power School on here.
Do you want to go and hook yours up to show it?
No.
Okay.
I have Power School on there, and that's the, for Ironwood area schools, that's their, where they show the grades and attendance and everything like that. So there's an app for that too. So it's easier than me remembering to go and check online, like for my kids' stuff. I just go, voila.
Right. It looks like there are actually a lot of things that are related to writing, and it's funny because I see like I have Evernote just on my smartphone, you know, just every once in a while, like, what are we doing on St. Patrick's Day this year? Like, let's keep a little record and take some pictures.
Mhm.
And I hadn't even really thought about how that could be, I mean, I teach writing and we do tons of active learning. I mean, that's
Mhm.
what we're doing almost, you know, every day. They're doing some kind of collaborative work or something. But you're right, it's, without having it in the hands of the students.
Mhm.
it's-
And some of them, like, I had told, like, the CMA students, I had told them at the beginning of the year that I, you know, looking at trying to get minis for them and stuff like that. And some of them actually, for Christmas, that's what they got for Christmas, and were really excited about it. So I got about 3 of them that actually went out and got their own.
How much do these things cost retail, approximately?
They're in line with the Kindles, aren't they 2 something or 2,
I want to
3?
say $3.99,
Oh,
something
they're
like
3,
that.
oh, they're 3 there, I thought they were closer to
No.
3.
Yeah.
Because a regular iPad would be around 700.
Yeah, but you know, some things, a lot of them do have smartphones, and so, you know, like Evernote, but would it be a problem, like, if they were trying to use their smartphone and they were using something like Evernote
No.
I think it's.
on their
most-
smartphone, could I somehow,
Mm-hmm.
from an iPad,
Oh, yeah.
like, interface with them?
You bet.
Okay.
As long as it's the
Good to
same
know.
app.
Right,
Right.
The
right.
only difference is that they've got this itty bitty phone, which is gonna be a little bit harder for them to
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Well, would there be a way to take their smartphone and hook it up kind of like a clicker? Where you have, you know, questions and then.
I do
Or you
that,
could
I do that in
download
my
Isn't that what Mary
class.
Grace was talking to us about wanting to do?
But, I mean,
Yeah, well,
they
she
have
wanted to share
clickers,
video.
they have
They
clickers
have
there, but
clickers.
I would like to, if we didn't have a clicker, everybody just, you know, just like in the lab anymore, I don't need stopwatches for things in the biology lab, so everybody just whips out their phone, they got their own stopwatch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
do.
is there a way you could sync up all of those to give you the information like a
I'm
clicker?
sure
Well,
there's an
I
app
do-
for it out there.
Mhm.
Well, I do poll everywhere.
You do what?
Poll everywhere, like, they, using their, we don't do this every day, but, I mean, every once in a while. Because, honestly, to some degree, I have this love-hate relationship with their cell phones because they want to use them for, you know, checking their Facebook status, you know, very often. But sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, pull out your phones and have like a little survey or what do you think? And then they can, and it's just free.
Oh, what's
Poll
an app?
everywhere is an app?
Yeah, well, it's,
Oh.
I have it on my, I don't even know if you would call it an app. I just use, it's
Website?
yeah, well, I have an account with Poll Everywhere.
Okay.
And,
So it's kind of like SurveyMonkey.
yeah, except
Yeah.
where you can show, like, you have a question and, you can have a live, you know, live poll going on right now, and it shows, and the graph changes with people answering, you know, how many of you, you know, choose one of these 4 questions, and, you know, and then it'll show you.
So it's kind of like that clicker.
Yeah.
It
you
is
said,
like a
that
clicker,
thing.
but
The
you
only
don't have to
problem
buy
is-
clickers.
Right, and then the only other issue you have is when I have the 46 and 50-year-old people who don't have smartphones, they can't participate then, and they get all.
Well, then, it's never an issue, because we'll just say, if you don't have one, then you just, you know, sit, or I'll say, okay, you know, partner up or get into groups, and as a group,
Mhm.
your group has to decide how you want to answer,
Oh.
how you
yeah.
want to answer this
Yeah, I
question, which is
suppose.
actually even, I think it's nice, because then they have a little bit of conversation surrounding it and think about it, and so then, you know,
Oh, that's kind of
Yep.
cool.
yeah, it works.
See, I
There's a
learned
lot of
this.
free ones.
Mhm. Oh, look at that. Show of hands, instant polling.
Surveys on the go.
I didn't think about that.
Lots of things.
So we don't have to buy anything. Just use the students' equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the perfect formula. Yeah. I learned something new now too. That's what I was looking for. That's all I know.
I would go look that up.
I
How's
think it's
that?
called Poll Everywhere.
Poll
I
everywhere.
think it is. Now I probably.
So if you, and I can't remember how, but what you just, I mean, what you basically just said, write that out in a proposal and and the only reason why Maria and I got one last year is because we were the only two that wanted them.
That's not the reason.
You wrote a
I take exception to that.
Whatever.
I wrote a
Excellent.
glowing.
So did I, for no reason.
Paper
For no.
I actually have heard though, there was a little competition because I know that
I know
Jack
Mary
Strand-
Grace.
Yeah.
No, I know Mary Grace wants one.
They're both. So.
But you do teach writing, do you not?
I teach writing.
So it would give you a slight advantage if it was a written application. One would think.
You know what, the funny thing is that I actually, I don't even, I mean, can you turn that off?
Yeah, are we done here? Because we
Yeah,
like to
we're-
talk
we're
about
not
some
too excited
more,
about it.
real
It's
things.
off.